All right, welcome in another Schmolke Investment Team spring practice report. Back indoors in the LSU indoor facility. Evidently still some work being done on the LSU outdoor practice fields. I was hoping we would be outdoors, and I'm assuming we're going to be out there in a week. But look who I got with me, Blake Ruffino from AYS. He's filling in for Buddy Sanji this morning, and we got our typical number of periods this morning as LSU again worked inside the indoor practice facility. Blake, what'd you think?
What's going on, Mike? I'm going to give my best buddy impression.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I think just focus a lot more on the defense. Look, Mike, both outside backers standing up, right? I mean, I think philosophy-wise, just what they're doing with Kevin Peoples, what they're doing in the secondary. They ran the free period where they just got one free high safety, completely different look, I thought, philosophy-wise with Blake Baker versus what we saw last year with Matt House. Also, I know the whole Harold Perkins inside backer thing's been a deal. He was in there, inside backer. So he wasn't on the outside. He was in the inside today. So that was the big thing from the defense that I took away.
You know, there's a lot of, can he do it? Can he be a traditional linebacker? And certainly there's no doubt about his athleticism, but there's a lot more that goes in that position. There's a reason why, it's been a bit of a struggle. So that's something that's going to be worked on between now and the opener in Las Vegas. And
does he look physically bigger to you?
He does, but he's still that he still has that tweener build.
Right.
He's still that. He played running back in high school too, so he's a heck of an athlete. But when you've got a defensive front that LSU's got, and we're going to be talking about odd man fronts and what unique things they're going to have to do to make it go. And I paid a lot of attention to defensive tackles today and what Bo Davis was doing, a lot of sled work. You'll be able to see that video on TigerBait.com. But yeah, to me, you're going to have some very physical linebackers that are sure tacklers if those inside defensive linemen are going to be what I fear they're going to be without knowing what they might get in the portal, which I get in the arguments all the time. I don't think it's going to be as good as people think it's going to be.
Well, I mean, definitely what we've seen from Bo Davis, at least through two practices, Mike, is old school. Sled, get upfield, no BS, which last year, you remember, it was catching blocks. Catch blocks, let the linebackers flow. They're not doing that. It's, hey, if you're not getting off the block, get out. And I think that's just a different, but I agree with you. They are thin. They are really thin there. But the question ultimately becomes, too, I do see them, like if there's a mistake, they're not wasting any time to get somebody in and out. Like, hey, man, you mess up that rep, you're out. Somebody else is in, which I think is refreshing to, hey, we're just going to stick with this guy they're trying to develop. I got to tell you, though, Mike, that safety room, though, they got a lot of dudes there. Now, I don't know who's going to come out, but there's a lot of dudes.
There's a lot of dudes at corner when everybody's healthy.
Right, and so, I mean, now you had J.K. Johnson, Ashton Stamps. They move Major Burns down to the line of scrimmage. I'm interested to see, Mike, when we get out on the field, what that looks like. He's not in the back free. He's not covering anybody deep. So what does Major Burns look like on the line of scrimmage? I thought that was a little bit interesting. But, Mike, like you said, you're going to have to tackle an open space. I don't know. I feel like right now they're trying to find just their best 11 and then go that route. But right now it's still a work in progress through second practice.
Absolutely. Of course, again, an early morning practice. We have player interviews later this morning. And on the offensive side of the ball, I know you've probably been noticing it and on social media, a little bit of scuttlebutt out there about is there a controversy for the number 2 competition at quarterback?
There has been, but I mean, Swan takes it first, then Ricky comes in, Darren drills and takes it second, and then Brian Kelly walks over, who, by the way, Brian Kelly, we might need to talk about this too, but was with the defense. He's yelling at him, compete, compete, compete. They're splitting reps. I mean, they're going after it. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that they were really going after it for who's going to be number 2. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, look, Swan, I got to give him this. Mike, he's big, he's physical, he throws really well, he was really accurate today, I thought, but there is some controversy about that.
I mean, as well. It's when we knew this coming into it, this is a very important spring for Ricky Collins.
Very important.
We know obviously Colin Hurley was here at midterm. Bryce Underwood's committed for next year.
Yep.
I want him to, when he says compete, I want to see Ricky compete. And I don't think he's going to lay down and just let a guy that they went in the portal come in and be automatically the number 2 guy. And so, can he do it? We obviously know it's always been his problem is the long throws, the release point, how long it takes for him to let loose of the ball.
Which was a lot better today. I think he's gotten progressively better. And Mike, even for Ricky, if he's not number 2, you're talking about a kid in Swan. Mike, he's gotten multitudes of starts in the SEC. If Garrett Nussmeier, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, went down today, are you putting in Ricky? No, because obviously Swan has that experience. But I do think that you got to give Ricky time. Again, Darren Drills, he's at 2. So what are we supposed to take from that? But I will tell you, though, I do think that Colin Hurley, the 16-year-old, from a pure throwing aspect, I want to probably get your opinion on this. He looks the part, right? From a throwing aspect. So he's looked even good, too.
I know he's got to be swimming, though.
Oh, man. Yeah. He's got to. Sloan was on him, I think, mechanically. But when you look at just the way that he throws, a natural thrower when you see one, right? Like, that, okay, the kid's 16. How much better can he get? He's just a natural kid that if you were in high school, all right, that's a guy that plays shortstop. That's a guy that's quarterback in high school. He is that kind of athlete. He's a really, really good thrower of the football. I don't know process-wise if he can get it, but just from pure athleticism, I think he's looked really good.
I can't imagine being in college at 16 years old.
I can't be.
They make jokes about some of LSU's baseball players being as old as they are, and then you've got the complete opposite with Colin Hurley. Graduating a year early and on campus at 16 years old. And
what was he doing during spring break?
I don't know. You tell me.
You go to college and you're 16. You go on spring break?
Exactly. All right, guys. Of course, these reports are brought to you by the Schmolke investment team. Bart, Brian, Schmolke. Nobody does it better than them. And so what is something you could do with your money that would be meaningful to you? Do you have goals you want to reach? Do you feel like you need some guidance to realize those goals? At the Schmolke investment team, they help people set their goals and work toward them. They have over 50 years of experience doing just that. If you want to get serious about reaching your financial potential, call the Schmolke investment team at 318-448-3201. That's 318-448-3201. Nobody does it better than the Schmolke investment team, and right now you really can use them. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA/SIPC. Been knowing Bart and Brian Schmolke for over 20 years. There's no finer people, and they're going to make sure you get your money invested. And look, let me tell you, the younger you are, the better it is to start doing it now. And if you're older, they're going to tell you if you need to move some things around and so forth. So give them a call.
Compounding interest, man. A lot what Brad Davis is doing on the offensive line. Emory Jones not there today. I don't know if he's hurt, injured, whatever, but not out there. Thought it was interesting, Mike, the number 1 lineman that they got coming out, Tyree Adams at right tackle today. I thought that was interesting. I thought they might go somewhere else, but Tyree Adams being at right tackle. What'd you see from the other line, you thought?
Yeah, I saw Brad Davis getting pretty animated with his group and talking about chipping with the left shoulder and making them redo it again. And there's a lot of stuff, especially for me being behind a camera, and I like to go back and watch and see what I'm seeing. I really liked some of the, they had a little bit more sense of urgency, I thought, today than they did the first time we were out here. And so, but that just shows, look, they've got a lot more practices in. And look, even though this is only our second media opportunity out here, they've had a lot more practices than just the 2 we've been out here.
Wide zone blocking schemes, right? Like maybe something you would do under center. Thought that was interesting. We'll see. But look, Mike, that unit, you're talking about now just a lot of big-time recruits that are now in here developing. Obviously, Will Campbell being out there. DJ Chester not missing a snap. Thought he looked good, okay? So something that we have to monitor with him. But it's the same offensive line, same experienced offensive line. Still really thin at running back, though. But I got to tell you, the most competitive unit of all of them right now is that wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
Cortez has them like, hey, man, who's going to be the dude? He must have said today, who's going to be the guy at least 7 times. And they were competing. I thought Aaron Anderson looked really good, Mike. It feels like that he has a sense of urgency. Like, hey, man, it's either put up or shut up time for him. But that unit has got to be the most competitive.
Yeah, here's the deal. Do you think with pretty much accuracy, you've got high odds on, if you picked your top 3 guys right now, that they would be the top 3 guys in August?
Not even close.
Look, there's bodies there,
Man.
but is it? I don't know that you can guarantee who the guys are.
No, because you have
And everybody talking about Chris Hilton. I want Chris Hilton to be the guy.
well, and you had Kyle Parker out there today starting at X. C.J. Daniels wasn't there, so is C.J. Daniels going to be the dude? And then you have Cortez saying, "Hey man, this isn't G5 no more." Like he's screaming at him, "This isn't the group of 5 anymore. You got to come here to compete." And then you have Xavier Thomas, Mike, who comes in there and is literally talking trash to everybody. Okay, like, "Hey, this is my spot. This is where I'm going to do." So
Come towards me a little bit, Blake.
My bad.
There we are.
Highly competitive. Highly
We're
competitive.
looking into the sun, folks. So if through most of this video, Blake's been a little off and I'm in and out, it's because of that. We're looking right in the sun. But anyways, yeah, I think I watched a little bit of Aaron Anderson today, and I'm scared to go crazy like I did last year. But I do know that he feels the best he's ever felt. And I really like the way he looks running some routes today. But let's see.
Well, he looks the part.
I want to take a very much a show me attitude with him.
Yeah, but he looks the part. I thought Xavier Thomas looked good too. I mean, you would think that he would be a smaller wide receiver, but he looks good. And so that unit, I mean, I just don't know what you get from him, Mike. We got to see them out there and see what Garrett. But I will tell you, right now he's going to Kyron Lacey. Three throws from Garrett went to Kyron. Okay, who do you think his number one target is? Who he feels the most comfortable with?
Guys, if you're enjoying this practice report, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. Anything else you want to touch on before we head out?
No, just really excited to see them on the field. I think we get out there on Saturday.
Yep.
That will
we get
tell
the
us
whole thing on Saturday.
the whole thing on Saturday, so that's going to be a big deal. I don't know how much you can get from that. The only thing I will say, Mike, I do continue to say that running back room feels so thin, right? Like I mean, Josh Williams wasn't getting a lot of reps today. It was mainly just 28, and everybody wants to see Caleb Jackson. I do too, but it just look.
They got to get a running back in the portal. I don't think there's any debate.
It's just when you get it's one thing for us to go on our shows and talk about it, but when you're out
Let
here.
me ask you something. Would we still be saying that they need to go to the portal to get a running back? I don't know if you agree with me, but I think you do. But would we still be saying that if Caden Durham had been a midterm grad?
Yeah. Oh, without question. Because, Mike, you're talking about 3 backs. I mean, last year you had 6 games where there was a back injured, at least one. You had 3 games where 2 of them were injured. So again, look what Ole Miss is doing. They're going to go back into the portal and get a running back. Okay, like they're pretty adamant. It doesn't have to even be a starter. Mike, they're so thin. Malachi Lane's going to be is your third guy right now.
And here's the other part of it. And part of it for me isn't just, the numbers. A part of it is the fact is what we've seen in the history of Frank Wilson and Brian Kelly using underclassmen running backs.
Right. I mean, you saw it last year.
Yeah.
I mean, their backs back. I mean, probably because of pass protection.
But it is a tricky situation because, you've got Harlan Berry committed. You're waiting on James Simon to get it done.
Right.
And you don't want to go out and get a transfer portal running back that's got some pretty salt to him and maybe 2 or 3 years of eligibility. So how do you find a guy that fits right into that sweet spot where maybe he's got 1 year of eligibility and he's willing to come in here and be a 2 or a 3 back?
Something they're going to have to work out, or they're going to have to move somebody. I don't know who they move, but they might even have to move somebody, Mike, during the spring. There's just not enough good reps there.
Yep. AYS Sports, Blake, tell them how to get there and what you got coming up today. And look, he's doing shows all day long and in the evening. And tell them all about it, Blake.
Yeah, Ruffino and Joe show at 6, and then AYS at 7. Might be a little late. My son Ben starts t-ball practice today.
Oh boy.
So I mean, he might have to get elevated to coach pitch. So excited about that. But we'll be live at 7 to break all this down.
All right, guys, hit that like button on the way out. Go to TigerBait.com. We've got all the practice video for you, and a lot more. A lot of stuff happening in sports. Real quick, less than 2,000 actual. Maybe less than 1,500 at the NIT loss last night in North Texas. Matt McMahon's got some work to do, doesn't he?
Well, then you got 2,500 at the baseball game last night. So yeah. Year 2 going into this next one, though, Mike, for me. I mean, year 0, I can't. I take this as a year 1 for me. But he's good. Now the clock really starts.
All right, real quick. Women's basketball starts Friday.
Yep.
NCAA tournament here. call your shot. The Elite 8, Sweet 16, Final Four. What do you think? What's your projection?
UCLA scares me. I'm going to go Final Four.
All right.
I'm going to go Final Four. I think they want that matchup. They want to rematch Caitlin Clark and this LSU team in the Final Four.
All right. You heard it. I think I might be with you. All right, guys. We'll see you next time right here on TigerBait.com.
See ya.